What if I told you that while America was negotiating peace in the Middle East, someone at the negotiation table was also negotiating their own bank balance? Yeah, not a conspiracy theory, not Reddit, not your uncle's WhatsApp forward. We're talking about real investigations, real money, and real power. And at the center of it all, the president's son-in-law. Let's get into it. So here's the deal. In America, we love to believe our system is strong. Checks and balances, institutions, democracy. You know, the Avengers of governance. But what happens when one of the Avengers is like, hey, what if I save the world and made a few $1 billion on the side? That's where things get messy. Because right now, US lawmakers are investigating a situation that sounds less like diplomacy and more like a family business expansion plan. We are talking about Jared Kushner, former senior advisor, Middle East negotiator, and apparently a guy who thought, why not mix geopolitics with private equity? Now, normally, when you're negotiating foreign policy, you're supposed to represent the country, not your portfolio. But reports suggest that while landing sensitive Middle East negotiations, Kushner was also raising billions of dollars from the same governments he was dealing with. Let me say that again, slower. He's negotiating with them and raising money from them. That's not diplomacy. That's a 2-for-1 combo deal. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets wild. His investment firm reportedly pulled in around $2 billion from Saudi Arabia, over $1.5 billion combined from Qatar and UAE, plus massive fees on top. And this wasn't like, hey bro, invest in my startup, we are building the next Uber for camels. No, this is happening while he's actively involved in shaping US foreign policy in the Middle East. That's like your referee in a football match, also betting on the game and owning one of the teams. At that point, it's not a match, it's a Netflix documentary waiting to happen. Now, US senators are asking a very basic question. Did you separate your government role from your business interests? And the subtext is basically, bro, are you serious right now? Because if foreign governments believe they can influence US policy by investing money into someone close to power, that's not just corruption, that's a national security risk. But wait, it doesn't stop at one guy. This is where it turns into full family drama. Because reports also highlight how other members of the Trump family have been making moves in business sectors that overlap with government influence. We are talking investments in defense-related companies, massive jumps in net worth, deals happening during politically sensitive periods. And suddenly it raises a bigger question. Where does public service end and private profit begin? Because if your family is making millions or even billions while you're in power, people are going to ask questions. And in America, institutions actually do ask those questions. Senate committees, oversight bodies, investigations. Not always perfect, not always fast, but they show up. Now let's zoom out, because this isn't just about one person or one family. This is about how power works in modern democracies. Because today, influence doesn't just come from elections. It comes from money, networks, global connections. And when those things mix with government authority, you get a situation where policies can start looking like business strategies. Think about it. If a peace deal, a sanctions decision, or a diplomatic move can also impact someone's financial interests, can you really trust the intention behind it? Or is it just policy for profit? And here's the part that gets me. People always think corruption looks like a villain in a dark room, counting cash under a table. No, modern corruption wears a suit, gives TED Talks, talks about strategic investments and global partnerships. It's clean, it's polished, and sometimes it's completely legal. That's the scary part, because the line between smart business and abuse of power is getting thinner every day. So what happens next? Investigations continue, questions get asked, documents get reviewed, and maybe, just maybe, accountability follows, or maybe it doesn't. Because in politics, just like in business, the most important skill isn't always being right, it's being untouchable. But here's the thing. A democracy doesn't survive because leaders are perfect. It survives because institutions are awake. So the real question isn't, did something wrong happen? The real question is, will the system do anything about it? If you made it this far, hit like, subscribe, and remember, in today's world, sometimes the biggest deals aren't signed in boardrooms, they are signed in the shadows of power.